Welcome to this explainer. Seriously, right now, take a second and look down at your hands. Take a deep breath. You are currently piloting the absolute most complex, intricately designed biological machine in the known universe, the human body. It's a total marvel of engineering, right? But, surprisingly, it doesn't come with a user manual stuffed in the glove box. Well, today we're going to fix that. We are building the ultimate user manual for you.
So, I want you to ask yourself honestly, do you truly know how your own machine works? Sure, you know where your heart is, and yeah, your stomach rumbles when you're craving a snack. But do you really get how all these distinct parts communicate, protect each other, and function as one massive unified whole? If you're like most of us, probably not. But hey, that's exactly what we're mapping out today.
To make sense of it all, we've broken things down into 5 neat chapters. We'll kick things off with form and function. Then, from micro to macro, reading the human map, protecting the vital organs, and finally, 11 systems, one goal.
All right, let's jump right into Chapter 1. Form and Function, the Blueprint of You.
You know, the history of figuring out this blueprint is actually pretty grim. Back in ancient Greece, brilliant physicians like Galen couldn't just order an X-ray. They had to rely on examining the gruesome, gaping wounds of soldiers right on the battlefield just to get a tiny glimpse of our internal wiring. Wild, right? It actually wasn't until the 16th century that Andreas Vesalius pioneered formal dissection. Fast forward to today, and thankfully we've traded the battlefield for the absolute marvels of non-invasive MRIs, CT scans, and 3D VR modeling. Okay, let's dive into this. To really read our user manual, we've got to lock down 2 fundamental terms. First up is anatomy. That word actually comes from a Greek root meaning literally to cut apart. It's all about the physical structure. Basically, if you can see it, measure it, or weigh it, that's anatomy. On the flip side, we have physiology. This is the chemistry and physics of the body. It's how those physical structures actually function and work together to keep you alive. So think of it like this. Anatomy is the form, and physiology is the function.
Moving right along to Chapter 2, from micro to macro, what are we made of? Before we even get to the organs, let's look at the raw materials. And these numbers, they might actually surprise you. Because for all of our complex emotions and deep philosophical thoughts, you and I are essentially just a walking, talking cloud of gas and carbon. Seriously, by mass, we are roughly 65% oxygen, 18.5% carbon, and 9.5% hydrogen. We are these wonderfully complicated structures built from incredibly basic everyday elements. So, anatomists study how these basic building blocks come together using 2 totally different lenses. First, there's gross anatomy, also called macroscopic anatomy. Now, macro just means large. So this is the study of the big stuff, things visible to the naked eye, like your brain or your femur. But if we zoom way, way in, we enter the world of microscopic anatomy, where you absolutely need magnification. We're talking cytology, which is looking at individual cells, and histology, which looks at the tissues those cells eventually form.
Let's move to how this all builds together in Chapter 3, reading the human map, navigating the body. Imagine if medical professionals didn't have a standard starting point. A surgeon telling an assistant to make an incision on the left side could be a literally fatal miscommunication, just depending on which way the patient is facing. Enter the anatomical position. This is the ultimate vital anchor point. Body upright, feet together, and palms facing forward. Why palms forward? Well, it's actually the only way the bones in your forearms run parallel instead of crossing over each other. Every single directional term in medicine assumes the body is in this exact stance, so nobody ever gets lost navigating the human map.
All right, so once we're oriented, anatomists organize this map in 2 main ways. Regional anatomy explores a specific localized area. Think of the abdomen, for example, studying how the blood vessels, nerves, and muscles are all tightly packed into that one specific space. Systemic anatomy, on the other hand, takes a functional approach. It looks at a whole system, like your muscular system, and maps it out across the entire body, no matter where those individual muscles are actually located.
Which brings us to Chapter 4, protecting the vital organs, the safe rooms. Now, what's really interesting about this is how elegantly the body compartmentalizes risk. We essentially have 2 main safe rooms. The dorsal cavity runs along the back and holds the cranial and spinal subdivisions. It's basically a solid vault of bone protecting your incredibly delicate brain and spinal cord. Then, we have the ventral cavity on the front. This holds the thoracic and abdominal pelvic subdivisions, keeping your heart, lungs, and digestive system super safe, while still giving them the physical room they need to expand and contract. But here's the thing. Just stuffing an organ into a cavity isn't enough. Your heart is constantly beating. Your lungs are always expanding.
If they were just rubbing against the cavity walls all day, they'd get completely shredded by friction. And that is exactly where serous membranes come in. These are brilliant, double-layered tissue linings that secrete a lubricating fluid. They act like microscopic, fluid-filled shock absorbers. They let your organs slide, move, and do their jobs right next to each other without causing a single bit of internal damage.
And that leads us to our final piece, Chapter 5, 11 Systems, 1 Goal, Achieving Balance.
Right now, inside you, there is a dynamic, high-energy symphony of 11 distinct organ systems all working completely in tandem. Just think about it. You've got the integumentary system protecting your outside, your skeletal and muscular systems moving you around, nervous and endocrine systems firing off signals, the cardiovascular and lymphatic systems transporting fluids, your respiratory and digestive systems pulling in fuel, your urinary system clearing out the waste, and the reproductive system ensuring the continuation of the species. 11 systems literally firing on all cylinders 24/7. So the crucial point is, why are these 11 systems working so incredibly hard? The ultimate goal is homeostasis. It's essentially the holy grail of human physiology. Homeostasis is that state of perfectly steady, stable internal conditions maintained by living things. When you get too hot, your integumentary system sweats to cool you off. When your cells desperately need oxygen, your respiratory and cardiovascular systems kick into high gear to deliver it. Every single system exists simply to maintain this beautiful, delicate balance.
And this brilliantly illustrates our whole core theme, that form dictates function. Just take a look at your hand right now. Maybe you're gripping your phone or resting your hand on a desk. The unique anatomical alignment of your thumb sitting in opposition to your 4 fingers, that's its gross anatomy, is the exact thing that provides the physiological function, allowing you to pinch, grasp tools, and fire off text messages. The physical structure directly determines what the machine can actually do.
As we close out this user manual, I want to leave you with one final thought. Right at this very second, your nervous system is processing the sound of my voice. Your muscular system is subtly adjusting to maintain your posture. Your respiratory system is quietly pulling in oxygen. So how are your 11 systems working together in perfect, quiet harmony right now, navigating literally millions of chemical reactions, just to let you sit there and watch this explainer? It is a staggering, beautiful mystery, and it's happening inside you every single day.